YouTube. Hi, my name is Mark, and this is Nixon Motorsports. If you're new to this channel, we're all about motorsports, from racing to exotic cars and even simulators. All right, hey, today's video, we're going to paint the race car. As I mentioned, if you saw the previous video, some of the winter projects this year are going to include paint the race car. I need to do a motor swap, put a fresh motor in it. I need to put new safety harness in place, you know, they expire. And if I can get to that before the first race, I'm going to make a new bead seat for the race car. So it's a few little things. But today we're going to start with the race car, and we're going to start taking the body panels off to get them to the paint shop. And I'm going to weigh some of the parts just before we take it to paint, right? I'd like to just, I'm curious, you know, is it a couple ounces or how much weight is it? But basically the car is all going to be red. There'll be some accents to it. The wings, the lower and upper, the main planes, front and rear will stay black. The floor and the diffuser, they'll stay black. But the rest of it will be Ferrari red, right? It's a color that I love. So let me start pulling some of these panels off and start, you know, weighing some of that, like I said. But let me pause here really quick. If you saw the last video of the new shop here, now look, it's a mess. I still have crap all over the place. But I've finally completed the mini split. So now I have a HVAC, so air conditioning and heat and all that stuff in the shop. Awesome. So it's really nice to be very comfortable out here. Anyway, let's go ahead and start taking some body panels off and get them on the scale. All right, as I'm starting to get the bodywork off, you can see I got a handful of things done. The simple stuff. The main body panels here, I need to take off yet, obviously. The roll hoop headrest piece. And lastly, my nose. So I have to disassemble this and get that ready to go. So the car's going to look pretty funny here in a little bit. It's a mess right now, by the way. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to weigh each of the parts just for grins. I'm going to write down the weight and kind of do a before and after, right? Just to see how much weight the paint added to the body parts. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each body part, like here's the engine cover, and I'll kind of balance it. I'll have to do it with a little more precision than this here in just a second, but you kind of get the idea. That's showing about 6 pounds, it looks like, roughly. So I'll do that on each of the parts, and like I said, I'll record their current weight. Now I have a set of tire kickers that I'm going to take over there. I'm going to see if Jim, who's my painter body guy, if he can match these or get pretty close to it. That's kind of the color I'm looking for. I have some brand new rear end plates for the rear wing assembly that are primed and ready to go. So that makes that pretty simple, but that kind of gives you the idea. So let me finish taking the body parts off, the rest of them, and record the weight. And I'm going to head these things over to the painter and get some of this stuff going, okay? Well, as you can see, the car is completely in pieces. Bodywork is at paint, that type of thing. So just doing miscellaneous items. For an example, new seat belts I just put in, replace a new fire bottle, that kind of thing. But this shows you the car, how it looks with no skin on it. Next up, I'm going to swap out the motor. This is a great motor, actually, just has a few hours on it. It's time for a refresh. So I'm going to pull the rear off here, do a motor swap, and kind of take care of that. So that's not too big a deal. Should have the bodywork back any day. So the car will come together here shortly. Let me pan over here. So this is the motor that I'm going to throw in. It's been in the car before. It's a great motor. It has one refresh cycle on it. This is a 2021. And again, strong motor, but I'll be throwing that in the car here shortly. So, time to get the motor out, get dirty. Okay, just a quick update. So I have the engine in the car. You can see it's completely tore apart here at the moment. The wiring harness is pulled back and such. This is how I do it though. I actually just apply a couple bolts to hold it in place, and I have it ready to mate. This is the oil pickup tube that mates to the back of the spar down here below. So I need to clean up the spar a little bit. This thing is this rear end of the car, as you can tell. Once I get it cleaned up, I'll bring that forward, mate it, obviously make sure that this is aligned, and then get my mounting hardware in place and such, tighten that up. So that's up next. The car will start looking like a car here shortly. And I will, by the way, I always replace my oil cooler and change the filter element for my oil system every time I do a motor change. So I do it out of a precaution. These things have a lot of vibration. I just want to make sure I don't have any issues. And this is in the high pressure line side. So I'll be doing that. It always makes a nasty mess, but I'll change that out here in a minute and continue with the rest of the install. All right, so I thought I'd pause here for a minute and show you where I'm at. I have the spar attached to the rear of the engine and the chassis with all the struts and mounts in place. So the motor is solid and in place. Now, I have a lot to do, as you can tell. All the plumbing, oil, water, that type of thing, all of that has to be done. All the electrical and wiring, throttle bodies, that type of thing. So you can see a lot of that. As I pause here just for a second though, if you haven't seen these before, this is just a heat shield or a blanket. It's a Kevlar pad or blanket. I actually mount these behind the headers here against the engine. And I do that just as a safety piece to keep as much heat as I can, but it also acts as a scatter shield to a degree, right? In case the motor let go, trying to keep parts away from exhaust. As I said earlier, I do change the oil cooler itself and the filter element. I have not done that yet. Here's my new cooler itself. It has these eyelets on it. I actually grind those off so I can lay it under my side pod. So I'll have to do that, get that in place, obviously pull this apart, and then I'll be able to oil the system up, of course, with the rest of the plumbing, right? So that just gives you kind of an idea of what it looks like. Let me keep going, and I'll pause at another point and give you an update at that point. All right, just another quick update, progress where I'm at. The motor is mostly plumbed. I got my oil and water lines in place. I'm right in the middle of moving the wire harness around. It takes a bit to get that in place. Headers are on, as you can see. Remove the oil cooler itself, have my new one prepped and ready. So I'll wait till I install that, till I get my body panels on. It's coming along. Body panels will be a nice one here shortly, but next up I'll go ahead and get the wiring wrapped up and done, get the injectors, throttle bodies, all that back in place here, and the motor is going to be getting close. So okay, another update as I am assembling the car. You can see I still have no bodywork on it. I will have the first few pieces of panels, so bodywork tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to that. The car will start looking a little more like a race car once we start putting the panels on. So the engine is pretty much complete. I have a little bit of wiring and plumbing yet to do, but this gives you an up-close look of what it looks like when you strip out, the throttle bodies, the airbox, that type of thing. So There's the engine. Now, what I haven't done yet is the throttle bodies. And the only reason I have not thrown these on yet, I'm going to put new spark plugs in it, and I have some high performance coils that I will replace really quick before I put the airbox on. And these are the coils that I've been running, if I can grab one here, for a while. These are actually pretty cool. Did not bother doing any dyno to tell you if they're worth anything or not. They're kind of pricey. I've been doing that now for a while. So I'm gonna put the new coils in, then I'll put the air box on. You can see I just have it sitting over here. Put a new air filter in it, that type of thing. So there it is. There's the progress so far. Again, I think it will start looking a little more like a race car tomorrow. I have some of the body parts here for the car. Let me just pan down and show you where I'm at. It's starting to look like a real race car, which is pretty cool. And we'll fire up the motor here in a little bit. It's ready to go. I have the side pods, you know, the main body panels on here, as you can see. Boy, the paint, the clear coat on this thing, beautiful. Jim, hats off to you, man. The paint looks great. So I can't wait to see the rest of it on the car. It's gonna look very, very nice. So just wanted to show you where I'm at. Again, good progress. Still need my roll hoop piece back from paint. I do have my engine cover down here in the floor. You can see that. I'm still missing my end plates for my front and rear wings, nose, the front nose, it's, you know, etc. So there's a handful of things, but you know, it is starting to look like a real race car. I did not make my new seat yet. I will get to that sometime here in the next probably 2 months, I'm hoping, and I'll do a video on that just to bring you along. But this is a fresh motor. It's a 2021. It ran great before, had a few miles on it, so it came back from the builder. It's a full refresh, right? So should be a strong motor. Looking forward to that. And but that's it. Just wanted to show you where I'm at. When I get the rest of the parts on the car, I'll bring you back and show you what it looks like with a fresh coat of paint. Oh, one call out. So we'll see what the total weight is when I get it on the scales. But for an example, like, you know, the questions on paint, how much does it add to weight, right? My guess, it's probably going to be around somewhere three pounds, maybe 4. Which is a fair amount. As an example, the engine cover, if I scan down here on my little blue tape notes, right? The weight before was 6.1, 7.1 pounds. So that was 1 pound just on the engine cover. Like the right side pod was only 0.2 of a pound, about half a pound on the left side pod itself. So, you know, instructions to the paint guys was to keep Bondo, you know, the primer aspects of it as light as possible. I wanted to keep the weight down, but anyway, it's going to be maybe 3-4 pounds. I do think it's going to look beautiful. I'll need to take the weight off the driver to make up for it, right? So it's on me. Anyway, until next. All right, so I have the bodywork on the race car. I want to pan down here and show you what this looks like. So let's do this. It's up on the stands, as you can see. Turned out extremely well, I think. A couple little blemishes on paint, but for the most part, especially for a race car, I think it's quite good. Rotate around this way. So it's nice to have red back. As many of you know, if you followed me for a while or the channel, most of my race cars, in fact, probably 99% of them have been red. But anyway, that's what the car looks like. Now I'll set it down here in just a minute. I'll roll it outside, I think. I'll show you what it looks like on the ground outside. From here though, the car is ready to go. I'll fire up the motor here in a minute and let you hear what that sounds like. And before my upcoming race here in about 2 weeks roughly, you know, I need to get the setup on the car, that type of thing, get it on the scales, and just small little double check on a few items, but really pleased with it. So let me get this on the ground. I'll bring you back and show you what it looks like at that point, okay? All right, I have the race car outside. Thought I'd just walk around, let you see what it looks like on the ground. I think it turned out quite well. If it stayed this clean, it would be nice, but you will know, first time out on track, you know, road rage, you know, little chips and this and that and whatnot, right? So there is a painted Formula 1000. Yeah, quite pleased. So I'll roll it back in here in a minute, get it ready for the scales that I have. By the way, these are the new wireless pads, which is really cool. They're Bluetooth connected. So you just walk around, you just have a tablet for checking your weights, that kind of thing. Pretty cool. So I will get it cleaned up here, get the car back in, and I'll pull the engine cover off really quick. I've had it ran, the motor ran just for a minute. I'll go ahead and warm it up just so you can hear the motor. And that's about it from here. It's again, like I said, going through with some detailed measuring, everything set up on the car, so it's ready for the upcoming US majors. All right, so here's the motor warming up. Nice and dry, I don't see any fluids. This just shows, you can see what gear, it's water temp, fuel pressure, oil temperature, that type of thing. Sounds good. So again, this is the 2021 motor. I've had it in the car before. It's a really good running motor. ZX10R, by the way, if you're not aware. And you know, dyno with these things, we're getting about 224, 225 horsepower. The red line is 14, actually a touch above that. I typically shift or put my hard limit right at 14. I shift about 13.8. And yeah, great motor stuff, by the way. So the car is seemingly in pretty good shape here. So, like I said, I'm just going to let it warm up here a bit. My next steps will be to, you know, scale the car out, actually get the setup on it. I did take some measurements on the body panels, as I talked about earlier. It looks like it gained about 5 pounds roughly for the whole car. That's not bad, actually. And having a nice, beautiful paint job on the car, you know, I think it's worth it. Now, if I can just take out 5 pounds on my body weight, then I can make up for it that way, right? But anyway, That's it for this video. I hope you found this of interest. If you have interest in the Formula 1000s or any open wheel race car, questions of whatever type that may be, just shoot me a note. I'll try to get back to you as quick as I can. I do have a friend, a competitor, who has a store, F1000, for sale. You know, it's nothing out of it for me, but if I can help connect the dot for anyone who might have interest, you know, let me know. I think it's still available. And so that's it for now. Now, if you haven't subscribed, you know, consider doing so. I would appreciate that. Again, I really enjoy the comments, the questions, so keep those coming, okay? But until next time, ciao.